Okay, welcome everyone to the LAO Centralized Access Channels and Services presentation. I just want to thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are excited to give you an overview of the intake services that the public is free to access. This session is also an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have about the range of services that Legal Aid has available today. We also welcome any feedback that you have about how the information is presented. We will be distributing a short survey at the end of our presentation, and we will also be taking this presentation on the road, presenting to other community partners across the province with help from our regional partners. So your feedback is extremely important to us. So over the past couple of years, working with many LAO departments and regional staff, we've been working to improve the way we serve clients, including streamlining access, intake and eligibility processes, and introducing new digital channels. By focusing on widening the client's access points, LAO has made it easier for our client to get the information they need, making applications easier for clearly eligible clients, and allowing applicants to go back and update any information made at their point of intake. So to move with changing client capabilities, Legal Aid now offers a variety of ways to connect with us beyond the phone. So before we get started, I'd like to just present some of our panelists here today. So I'll just pass it over to John.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Haddad. I will be discussing the client portal with you today. I'm currently the manager of the Client Business Systems and User Support Group at Legal Aid, and it's been a short 31-year stint with me with Legal Aid. And I'm going to pass it over to Catherine.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and I'm a staff lawyer with the Operations Policy Management team in the Central Operations Division. I've been with Legal Aid just a little over 20 years, so 10 away from John. We're going to maybe go down in number as we go along as our introductions. My pronouns are she, her, and I currently also do family and CCB appeals approvals. And I'm going to be presenting on assisted applications later in the presentation. And I'll pass to Maria.
Yes, hi, my name is Maria. I've been at LAO for a short 2 years. I'm an advisor in the communications department, and I won't be speaking too much today, but I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. And I had a hand in helping support some of these materials, and I'm looking forward to hearing from our team. So with that, I will pass it to Stacy, I think.
Hi, I'm Stacy Huxtable. I'm with the External Relations Department. I'm a family lawyer by trade. So welcome, and I will be closing off the presentation at the end, so I'll speak more at that time. Who should I pass it off to? Heather, maybe?
Sure. Thanks, Stacey. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heather Vukovic, and I'm the manager of district operations for Centre-Ouest District. I'm excited to be part of today's presentation and look forward to connecting with you all. I'll pass it over to Angie.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Angie. I'm a legal aid worker. I've been with Legal Aid for almost 25 years, and I'm out of the Centre-Ouest District in the Brampton Courthouse. And I will pass it to, is there another person to pass to?
Lena?
That would be perfect.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lena. I am the manager of civil services in Hamilton, which includes the Family Duty Council office. I've been with Legal Aid for 11 years in various capacities. And I will pass it on to
Debbie.
Debbie?
Hi, I'm Debbie Heron-Pauls. I'm one of the managers here with the CLSC. And I also manage the chat line of business, which I'll be talking to you about in a little bit. And I think, am I the last one?
I think
Sorry,
so. I guess I'll introduce myself. My name is Jacqueline Cutler. I'm business advisor for the operational policy management team. And in my current role, I am leading these sessions and giving information to our stakeholders about all of our certificate services. And I am heavily involved in advancing our digital experience strategy at LAO. I guess we will have Moyo as well that will be monitoring the chat for us. She'll see her there on video, and then Maria will be paying close attention to the time as we only have just over 1 hour with you. So we just want to make sure that we get you everything you need today, and we will have a recorded version of this presentation available as well. So I'm just going to pass it over to Lena for our land acknowledgement.
Thanks, Jacqueline. I would like to acknowledge that the Centre-Ouest district is situated on the traditional territories of diverse and distinct First Nations peoples. I am grateful to live and work and to be speaking with you from the traditional territory of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. This territory is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe. I further acknowledge that this land is also covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase, 1792, between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. The territory that we know as Ontario was and is governed by the treaties, from the peace and friendship treaties to the numbered treaties, all of which bind many nations to share those territories and protect the land in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Today, our district is home to many Indigenous people, including First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island, and we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles and responsibilities. We actively acknowledge our nation's commitment to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action, the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit reports calls for justice.
Thanks, Lena. The main objective for running these sessions is to help you to be better able to support your clients when they apply for our services. We will do this by going over the key features of our LAO centralized intake channels. Today's focus is on helping to ensure that you are familiar with the different access channels, especially some of our newer service channels. And then those options that are available for our more at-risk or vulnerable clients. And so our purpose today is to provide you with up-to-date information that may assist you with serving your clients. And we believe after the session, you'll be better understand what happens when you refer your clients to our services. So just to kind of go over what our certificate program is. So the LAO certificate is a document that we provide our clients that confirms that we will pay for their legal aid lawyer. The client can bring this document to a legal aid lawyer, so anyone that's on our roster of their choosing to receive the help that they need. There are key areas of law that are covered under the certificate program. We do cover defense of criminal charges, where there's a risk of incarceration if convicted. We also do cover the appeal of conviction and sentence. We offer coverage for family law matters, for child protection matters, for refugee and immigration, including basis of claim, refugee hearings, humanitarian and compassionate grant applications, and judicial review of decisions. We also cover mental health law, including Ontario Review Board hearings, consent and capacity hearings, and we also cover prison law matters. So these are our primary access channels. So within each access channel, there are various client service options available. So the first one is our contact center. So this is our most commonly known access point. Our newest access point is live chat. Certificate applications are not processed through this channel. However, our chat specialists can provide basic information for individuals to help them understand LAO services, including the certificate program. And then we have the client portal, which is our online self-service option. And Legal Aid is committed to continually enhancing this service channel. We will be providing a demo of this channel during the session to highlight some of the functions that are available. We also have our assisted applications process, which are forms that lawyers and select service providers can email Legal Aid to facilitate a certificate application on behalf of their client. So we will speak to who is best suited to use these various access points as we progress through the presentation today. So I'm going to pass it over to Deb. She'll just talk about the contact center.
Okay. So the contact center offers services over the phone. Services available Monday to Friday during regular business hours between 8 and 5. And it is best suited for those who prefer to speak to somebody, and have real-time interpretation is available as well for those whose first language is not English or French. So this particular channel screens out at the general inquiry stage for those not suitable for legal aid services, and provides referrals to services within LAO, including summary legal advice callback services for family and criminal matters, referrals to community clinics, and to external services. We process certificate applications for all matters within legal aid coverage areas, and most clients will receive a decision on their eligibility within the same day. So we provide full support for immediate and longer-term client needs, including requests for review of certificate application decisions and change of lawyer applications. So this channel we also have a dedicated in-custody phone service where wait times are reduced due to these clients have a limited time on the phone. And the contact center also includes a lawyer advice service, which is available 9 to 5 for emergency family law needs. So this can include clients who are experiencing domestic violence and have a limited time, a limited window to call, and their safety is a concern. Or if the Children's Aid Society has notified a client that they are removing their child, or the client is calling from a jurisdiction outside of Ontario, but is seeking advice on an Ontario family law matter. The live advice queue is also for clients who are calling with a support person due to mental health challenges, or if they are finding it difficult to coordinate a callback, or perhaps they are unhoused, or an inpatient in a hospital, or they're having to use a service provider's phone. So although this is the most comprehensive service channel, the service is restricted to regular business hours, which may not work for everybody. Anybody have any questions about the contact center? No? Okay. Do you want me to move on with chat, Jackie?
Thanks, Deb.
Thanks. Okay. So chat is our newest point. It's our newest access point to the organization. We will be turning 2 years old in June, so we've been around for almost 2 years now. Chat is available in both English and French. A live agent is available to respond to general inquiries, and the link to access chat is on our external website. So the live chat agents do not ask any personal or case-related information during their chat interaction. And at the end, the clients do have the ability to print or email themselves a copy of the chat transcript, as well as provide feedback about their experience. So there's a survey option that they can choose to do at the end of their interaction. So chat is now available on all 300 plus pages of the Legal Aid Ontario external website. It's available Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. The average wait time to chat with a specialist is 16 seconds. So it's a very quick way to connect with us. On average, we're receiving right now around 64 chats a day. So you please feel free to promote this chat option for your clients who may have questions about legal aid services. And now, although the channel does offer support, the services here are limited to information only, and they may require a different service channel in order to progress their matters. And again, so this may not be suitable for all, but it is an option. Any questions about chat?
Okay. I'll
Okay.
pass it over to John. Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, guys. So I'm just going to be discussing the client portal, just some high-level information before we get into the demo. So, of course, our portal is available 24/7, which is obviously a wonderful feature for clients that business hours are not an option. It's completely bilingual in French. There's an opportunity to receive real-time decisions on the application, depending on what the inputs are, and some other auxiliary benefits are we have a find a lawyer tool. They can update their own information. If they move, any changes happen, opposed to having to call the contact center, they can now do it themselves. They're able to upload documents that legal aid is requesting or they need to provide to us. They can electronically sign the consent and declaration requirements, and they can also check the status of their applications at any time throughout the day to see where things are standing for their application with us. And I'm just going to share my screen. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Jackie. And can you confirm if you're seeing my client portal? No?
Not yet.
Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Hopefully that will do it. Any luck there?
Not yet.
Wow.
Oh, something is happening. Okay,
Okay.
great.
Sorry about that. Thank you. So this is our client portal login page. Of course, they can access through this through our external website. Now, for anyone who's coming to the portal, there's kind of three groups people fall into. Your clients could be already existing with legal aid, meaning they've called us in the past. We have a record of them. They have a client number, and they could have already taken a step to create a profile within our client portal. So for these individuals, it's simple. They just enter their user ID, which is either their legal aid client number or their email address, enter their password, click sign in, and they're in, and they can do whatever those opportunities that we discussed a little bit earlier. If they have dealt with legal aid in the past, they have a client number, but yet to create a profile in the client portal, or they're brand new to legal aid, those two last options, they click get started here, and they can commence this whole process. I'm gonna walk through the individual new legal aid, so we kind of just see the entire onboarding spectrum. So we give them a little disclaimer what is available to them via the client portal, that they can apply for legal aid, check their statuses, upload documents. If they can comply, if they have a family law matter, children's aid, criminal or refugee or immigration cases, they don't own property, they must be in receipt of either OW or ODSP, or they have no source of income as they're brand new to the country, they have no income as they're staying in a shelter, and lastly, no income as they're currently in custody. Now, these things are not requirements to be eligible for legal aid. If you call the contact center, these are just the parameters currently within the client portal. You can own property and be eligible for legal aid. You can be working and be eligible for legal aid. These are just, again, what is the restrictions today with the client portal. We're definitely looking to expand that, where any income the client has will be able to address via the client portal. Any legal matter that legal aid covers will be able to address via the client portal in future versions. So I'm just going to click continue. Again, as I mentioned, this is available in English or French. And right now I'm in what we call the pre-screening portion of the application, because we had to make a decision of either do we get the client's information up front and ask them to give us their name, date of birth, address, create all these validation points, and then get into the questions to quickly learn they might not be eligible for this path. And I'll kind of illustrate that. So have you applied before? I'm going to say no because I'm brand new. And I'm in a test environment, just so everybody knows, this is not our live production. That's why it's a little bit slow. And anything I'm doing is not going to impact our real data. So what do I want to do today? Because I'm brand new, my only opportunity is to make a new application. If I wanted to ask a question, if I was unsure if I'm eligible for legal aid, I just want to talk to somebody and I selected other, that's just going to populate a response to call the contact center. They would give the hours of operation, different phone numbers available to them to ask that question. Unfortunately, we just aren't able to assist them via the client portal for that function right now. Because I'm new, my only opportunity again is make an application. I don't have the ability to upload anything because I don't have a profile information. I don't have a status. I don't have an application to check the status of it. You get the idea. So right now, making a new application is my only opportunity. Do I live in Ontario? I do. With that, again, if I said no, that doesn't mean that you're not eligible for legal aid. It would just, you'd be told to contact the contact center. What is your income? Here again are the eligible opportunities for financial circumstances, OW, ODSP. If they're a youth living with a parent or caregiver, we then want to understand the parent and caregiver situation to see that they in fact are receiving OW or ODSP. The client can also be no income during custody, no income in new to Canada, and lastly, no income living in shelter. Other, that categorizes the countless other options of working full-time, working part-time, WSIB, EI, pension, CPP, any other income sources. Unfortunately, at this time, other will drive them to call the contact center. I'm just going to select OW for our demonstration. Do you own any real estate? I do not. Is your legal matter in Ontario? It is. And so here are the different legal matters that we can help the clients with via the client portal: criminal, family, children's aid, refugee, and immigration. Other, the landlord and tenant matters, a tribunal hearing. Again, they'll be, if that's selected, they'll be directed to contact us via the phone. Does anybody on the call have a preference on the route that we go, whether it's criminal, family, children's aid, refugee, and immigration? Is any of them more likely for your clients that you'd like to see us walk through? Or I can just pick one at random, whatever works. You can put it in the chat or come off mute, whatever works. Or I can just pick one.
We do have a question.
Please.
What is the preferred answer for folks who have no income, that are both new to Canada and living in a shelter?
Great question. So right now, that's the first time anyone's ever asked that. Great question. So if you select you're new to Canada, no source of income, that this opportunity that we're looking at now won't be available. It is going to direct them directly to the immigration stream of questions, the basis of claim, like the refugee application. So if that's the case, that they're looking for refugee coverage, that's okay. If they're looking for family law, children's aid, or criminal, then I would suggest that they select no income living in a shelter. Hopefully that answers that. Because they're both accurate. I appreciate what the dilemma would be, but I'm just letting you know the functionality. If they have a family law matter and they select they're new to Canada, it's going to route them right to immigration, and they won't have that opportunity to complete the family law matter. That's a great question. So I'm just going to,
I think we should do, I think we should do
Please.
family.
Perfect, thank you. Great. Let's do family. And we'll select next. So this is just asking, again, in plain language. Catherine was a big help for us when we were developing this tool to try to minimize the legal jargon within the client portal. So we tried to take it through our communications group as well to see how to not lose the meaning, but address things in a more relevant way. So starting or responding to a new family court case, changing a family court order, variations, or other. Other is going to drive them to call. And let's just say we're starting or responding to a family court case. Any family law matter, legal aid always is asking what we call our domestic violence questions. This just helps us understand the client situation. Every selection will drive the coverage that we'll be facilitating to the lawyer the client selects if they're deemed eligible. So this information will help us understand what the client is encountering and how we can best assist them. So does the other party cause you to fear for your safety? We're going to say yes, they do. And obviously, we always give them the opportunity to say they do not wish to answer, which is a completely acceptable response, of course. Have you or your children ever experienced any physical violence? We'll say yes. And has a party tried to control you by telling you where to go? You can talk to, limit access to money. Again, just to be consistent, I'm just going to say yes here. So we're asking, do you have a final court order involving the same person? We'll notice these question marks here. They're just help texts to help understand what we're asking. Final court order in order that decides a family law case. I'm going to say I do not. This is all new. And here are the different family law issues that they might be encountering. I'll just select custody, access, and a restraining order. Again, those selections in the background are mapped to different values, different authorizations, different wordings within legal aid. And that's, we know that the lawyer will have the proper coverage. Do you or the other party agree on the family law issues? We do not. Do you think you can communicate and come to an agreement? No, not possible. So the responses I've given made the determination that it looks like I'm legally eligible. And with the initial financial information I provided about receiving Ontario Works, they want me to continue. I'm eligible to continue with the application process. This is giving the client the opportunity to review all the pre-screening questions. And if they saw something that was like, oh, shoot, things I've seen where someone comes in saying they have a family law matter, or you question them, they pull out bail papers, that they've actually been charged with domestic violence, that they realize, oh, it isn't family, I really need a criminal application. They could click here, go back, change their response. And of course, depending on what question and what changes they make could obviously impact the subsequent questions that they previously answered. Like if I went from family to criminal, obviously these following family questions are no longer relevant. We'd go down the criminal path. So to scroll, because everything we've answered is in fact next. And now we kind of just start the onboarding process. Enter their email address. I'm entering mine. Just because I'm in a test environment, it needs to recognize a legal aid email. Oh, sorry, there was an extra date there. That's my fault. There we go. When the client enters a mobile number and agrees to receive text messages, that's allowing them to receive the two-factor authentication during this onboarding process and subsequent times they log in, that, we need a 4-digit code to it. They can receive it via text or via email. This is just giving that opportunity to come through text. I'm just going to put postal code in the client portal is a mandatory field. Lots of our clients we know have no fixed address. There's some background rationale why we need a postal code. Essentially, every postal code in the province is mapped to one of our provincial-wide area offices. And we know, when we see this postal code, it routes to this particular area office within our system. If the client doesn't have a fixed address, we just recommend that they select an address, provide an address that they can safely receive correspondence from legal aid. So whether that's a shelter address, whether that's your lawyer's address, a family or friends, whatever is the most readily available to the client, we're completely open to that. And we just ask for that postal code. If the postal code is in an incorrect, invalid format, we'll get a message. If it's in the correct format, but not recognized by us, it'll just mean we just route it to the Toronto office assignment, which is not a negative impact to the client, except they won't be eligible for potential automation for a real-time decision when the application is completed. So we've completed the pre-screening now. I've provided my name, date of birth, everything. Now we're going through the email verification process. Here we go. This is what the client will receive to confirm, in fact, this is their email. We get another additional page we'll display momentarily. This is just, again, allowing them to confirm their email with legal aid. Once that is conducted and completed, it triggers an event. What we send is called a portal invitation email. And as that blue thing circles, an invitation will be sent to my email momentarily, and that will provide the client their user ID for the client portal. And that will be their email address if their email address is brand new to our system. If the email address, like mine, has been recognized by the system, it will give them their new legal aid client number. So in my example, we're going to get the client number. If the client is brand new to legal aid and it's a brand new email address, their email address will display there. We select the link here within the email to go back to the sign-in page. We're back to where we started, but now I have my brand new client number. I return to the portal invitation and grab the temporary password. Copy that. Come back and paste that into the password and click sign in. And now we're just one step closer to completing the application process and the onboarding process with the client portal. So two-factor authentication, this is going to happen every time they log in to the portal. We're familiar with that with lots of, our banks, everything, different organizations have this two-factor authentication now. So now they have the opportunity of getting it via email or via text. I'll select email just so we can kind of just all see the process on screen. And plus I put a fictitious number for my cell number. So here is the authentication code of 2386. I'll just open it up so you can just see what the email actually looks like. So again, your legal aid authorization code is 2386.
I think like last time, John, that Zoom doesn't let us see your email.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I forgot that aspect.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You're doing a great job describing it.
Appreciate that. Thank you. There really was an email, I promise. 2386 was the code I received. And now, because I'm brand new, I'm given the terms and conditions to join the client portal. Pardon me. This is just a one-time event. You'll see this a one-time. Of course, after carefully reading it, you just scroll down here just for time's sake and click accept. And this is another one-time event. Even though we just gave the date of birth, this is another validation exercise. So I believe that's accurate. And this is something that your clients may encounter. They just think, oh, I just received that authorization code. I'm just going to enter the same value I just got sent to me. In fact, we need a brand new authorization code. So I'll select email. I know you're not going to see it, but I'm just going to jump over quickly to my inbox, and 5201 was provided, and I typed that in there. Because if I entered the original code, it will just say invalid code. I'll click submit now, and now they're asking me for my current password. That's the password that we received in that portal invitation with all the different characters and uppercase and lowercase values. Now I'm going to create a new password that's meaningful for me, so I'll remember in the future the next time I log in. Of course, we have parameters to make sure that's a valid password, and that is one uppercase, one numerical value, one special character, and it has to be at least 8 characters long. Here's our password recovery questions. We have the city, mother's maiden name, dog's name, favorite color. We're going to be expanding the list as well in the not too distant future. I'll click submit. Fingers crossed I did this correctly. And we can see your password has successfully changed. Click OK. Now we're within the client portal. Now we're just finishing off the questions. Within our home system, what we call PeopleSoft, we have a lot of mandatory fields whenever we're creating a new client. The same will be true for the client portal. That's why we're asking these questions of our clients to capture the information, because everything we do in the client portal gets mapped over into our home system of PeopleSoft upon submission. So what is your gender? Again, we have disclaimers here, helping provide some information for the clients. We have your current immigration status. This is a direct reflection of the exact same values. If I picked up the phone and called the contact center, they would have the same exact list to provide to me. And I'll just pick one here at random and select next. We have an Aboriginal self-identifying question for our clients. I know I just selected I was a conventional refugee, therefore the likelihood of being Aboriginal is, again, very, very unlikely. But just as an illustration, I just want to quickly just show you what the yes would drive. There'd just be follow-up questions, whether you self-identify as First Nation, Inuit, or Métis, or other. If I selected First Nation as an example, we have subsequent follow-up questions of, are you status or non-status, on reserve or off reserve? So I'll just go quickly back just to, again, I just want to change this just to be consistent to a no. I just wanted to illustrate the question. And our next question is our race-based question. We're gathering information about the racial component of the client and how they identify racially. So we have all the different lists here. And of course, we're given the opportunity to say, I prefer not to answer. And I'll just do that just to do that as a demonstration. And select next. What best describes your living situation? Now we're in our financial component. So again, you'll notice those question marks providing help text just to give the client, the applicant, an opportunity to understand what legal aid means when we say paying boarder, for example. You pay someone to with meals, non-paying boarder, you don't pay any money to live there. Shelter, you're staying at a shelter. So again, here's the drop down. And in my example, I'll just select a renter. So I mentioned OW. What is your family size? Again, we provide some context to what we mean by family size. You have the opportunity to use the up arrows, or you can just simply go into the field and just type the appropriate numerical value. How much do you have in liquid assets? What do you mean by that? So again, we just provide what we include in liquid assets during your legal aid application. Is anyone helping you complete the application? So this means that someone is assisting you with completing the application in your presence. So if someone is helping me, I just select yes. We can see there's a drop down to define who this person, what category they kind of fall into. Is it a clinic worker, immigration consultant, lawyer, office staff, a relative, shelter worker, social worker, spouse, translator, other. We're adding a couple other values with these sessions. And again, if anybody saw something that's missing that they think that would be helpful, please let us know, whether the chat or later when there's feedback available. So I'm just going to select one here at random. They want the name, my phone number, and my email address. If you wanted to put the shelter's email, by all means, completely fine. If you want to put the shelter's phone number, absolutely no issues whatsoever. I indicated earlier that I was receiving OW. We have a hover over text just to help the client understand when we say member ID, where they might find that on their check stub. Every check across the province, actually the layout is a little bit different. So, and again, I'm in a test environment, so I can just put a 9-digit value and that will be accepted. Also, we give the client the opportunity to take an image of their check stub and they can upload it. They have the opportunity to either enter their member ID or just take an image of their check stub, or they can do both, which I've seen both being provided. I'll select next. And we will be going to the lawyer page next momentarily. And that's just giving the client the opportunity to let us know, in fact, do they have counsel selected for this matter? If they do, we're gonna ask them, here we go. So do you have a lawyer? If I said no, I don't, this is giving them the opportunity to use our Find a Lawyer tool. This will give them the opportunity to select with a proximity search to whether it's their home address, where they're staying currently, where the court matter is, whether it's 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, of a lawyer that can represent them, that accepts legal aid for their legal matters. If they do have a lawyer, they select yes. We're going to want to know, have you paid any money to your lawyer? If I say no, of course, we don't follow up. But if I say yes, we want to know, well, how much have you paid your lawyer? Give them $40 just as an example. And what is your lawyer's name? So when we select a lawyer, this will give all, because we selected family, these are all the family law lawyers throughout the province that are currently available to select a legal aid certificate to represent the client. So if they know, as opposed to just scrolling, if their lawyer's last name is Smith, first name, they can just go and type its smart searches and pulls that information opposed to just scrolling. Once the lawyer is selected, we just provide the lawyer's phone number, their home address. We even have Google Maps to ensure the client is in fact picking, in this example, the correct Stephanie Smith in case there happen to be more than one. You just want to make sure. We also give them a disclaimer that changing lawyers without first getting the approval of legal aid, and legal aid rarely allows to change lawyers. So essentially just letting them know, be as careful as possible when selecting a lawyer. It is a process to get it changed, and it requires exceptional circumstances to let that change happen. Now we're in the consent and declaration. Again, normally we carefully read this. This is just letting legal aid know everything they told us is true to the best of their knowledge. A whole bunch of other information. Click accept and okay. Now we've completed the application. We've completed the whole onboarding. Now they have a client portal profile. Click OK. And now they're within the client portal framework. So the next time they log in, they just put their client number, they put their password, and they come right to this page. If this was really in production, like our live environment, tonight at 7 p.m., we have a nightly batch that runs. Our client, I'm pretty confident, will be eligible for legal aid, and they would receive a document tonight. So when they came in, they would log in and they would come to my documents, and they would see here a confirmation of legal eligibility. They would click it, they could view it and see, oh, here's all the coverage my lawyer is going to receive. Because I gave a lawyer's name, actually in real time, the lawyer has been notified a certificate, because I'm just going to quickly go to my inbox and hopefully we have a decision. Here we go. We can see that. Oh, sorry, you don't see it. I apologize. Sorry. I'll show that another way. The client received a notification that they've been approved for legal aid. Usually takes about 10 to 15 seconds. They receive their client number if they didn't have it already, again, because their user ID can have been their email address, their certificate number. 2 things they definitely want to give to their lawyer. If they gave us a lawyer's name, the lawyer was also notified in that same instance that a new certificate's waiting, and that lawyer could in theory, start representing the client at that same moment. The history tab will display all of the items that we send the client, and once the tab automatically transfers over into history. We don't have an archiving strategy at this moment, so in perpetuity as of this moment, they'd be able to see any document they've previously viewed. And they have all the date stamps when they saw it and when they acknowledged it. In this example, the C&D I just signed to complete the application. Legal aid applications, if I had a criminal matter, another family law matter, children's aid matter, refugee immigration matter, I would just click start a new application. I get to bypass all that onboarding stuff and to just ask me my questions, and it will determine eligibility from here. Again, it could stop us and tell us to call, or it could just process it as well. History tab, that is if I stopped midway of my application, they have 7 days to return. To pick it back up, they would have a link here, pick it up, and they can complete it. After 7 days, it turns to read only, and they just have to start over again. Active cases, this is where they find the status of their legal aid application. So we can see, here's my case ID. If I ever needed to call, I could quote that, my application date, what type of matter it was, my certificate, here's my lawyer, and the status certificate issued. When Stephanie acknowledges my certificate, this will change to certificate active. If for whatever reason my certificate was canceled, it would automatically at the same time update to canceled. This available button here, this is maybe not so helpful that I just did this seconds ago, but down the road, it could be helpful if you have multiple applications. They click here and they can just review what in fact this application was pertaining to. They could see all that information again, what we just entered. So just in case questions and their responses. My file upload, this is a great tool that we have clients, they can log into their portal. Legal aid asks, hey, I would love to see your bank account information. I would like to see your family law court papers, whatever the situation is. They would come here, select the document type. So if it was a banking document, they'd select finance. If I got canceled and I wanted to essentially have someone review that application, they'd select eligibility review. And if it was my family law court matter, they could select legal, the paperwork. And again, history, once that gets uploaded, they will have a directory of all the things they've provided to legal aid, of course, date stamped, and it's a link to whatever they gave us. My profile is just the opportunity for the client. If they moved, they just select the edit button, and they can change their immigration status, their preferred language. If I change this to French, anything that legal aid sent subsequent would come to me in French as I requested. They can change their address. You'll notice that first name, last name, and date of birth are the only 3 values that currently you would need to call us to change. And there's a bunch of technical reasons for that. There's very big impact to our database. If we get a lot of name changes coming through, doesn't mean we wouldn't change it. And this is something that we're reviewing to maybe expand to allow the client to change their name if that was deemed necessary. Or they also go by Gregory opposed to Greg. And that way, however they contact us, we would make sure we're not creating a new client for them in the future. And here, sorry, I just hit cancel. If I wanted to change my email, that's an opportunity as well. They just have to go through that same validation process earlier. And almost done. We have our resources tab. That's the find a lawyer tool. That's helping me find a lawyer, like we mentioned. Client satisfaction survey, providing any feedback for our tool. FAQs, and a glossary of terms that we use at Legal Aid. And lastly, the language. Of course, we can proceed in English or French to English at any time. And that, it's very quick, and I apologize for the speed of that. An outlook on how the client portal works. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to field them. If not, I'm going to pass it over to Catherine. No, and if there's anything that comes up in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out and we'll be happy to answer any questions. So I'm just going to stop sharing now.
Thank you, John. Just doing a volume check, Maria. Sounds okay?
Yes, sounds great.
Okay, good. Thanks very much. This channel that I'm talking about is called Assisted Applications. It's paper-based, although it's sort of an electronic version of the paper, and it offers selected internal, external service providers the ability to submit a form that they fill in with the applicant seeking an initial application for an LAO certificate. The channel is available in English and French because that's what the form is written in, and it can occur outside of regular business hours if the service provider offers services other than 8 to 5. The form could also be used with a translator, and then the English and French version can be submitted after the translator has assisted the service provider. On average, we receive about 550 of these per month. This provides assistance to some of LAO's most vulnerable clients. These applications are processed by the LAO staff through the information received on the forms that are submitted to a centralized email box. The processing takes 3 to 5 business days as our stated business process, although many are completed in much less time. Eligibility is determined in the first instance as the form is reviewed by the staff. The lawyers and other select service providers using the assisted application forms find these helpful for people who don't speak or read English or French and therefore may have low literacy skills. They may live in communities or institutions without access to a phone or internet or to devices themselves. They may have difficulty traveling to offices, courts, or clinics, and they may just not be comfortable using technology themselves. They may consider an in-person or a phone intake a challenge or for maybe either mental health reasons or some of their own feelings, such as feeling it's invasive or humiliating or something like that. Maybe not having time to stay on the phone. Sometimes we also find it helps youth who are trying to navigate criminal charges in the court system. Like the portal, the service is offered to those who have a fixed income, those on OW, ODSP, no income, new to Canada, or in custody. Coverage is available, as we've mentioned earlier, on the like the portal, and as well for criminal matters, child protection proceedings, family law, domestic violence has been experienced by the applicant, and immigration and refugee matters. The option is limited to approved stakeholders and service providers as they receive training and an overview of the program. Currently, roster lawyers with LAO, all the LAO Duty Council, our staff lawyers, including our senior counsel program, and also our Bridges, which is our 24/7 criminal duty counsel service, have access to the form, as well as the Office of the Public Guardian and Trustee. There are also some select mental health court workers and some Indigenous friendship centers in the north using the assisted application form. That's the basic details on the assisted application. Is there any questions? I'm now going to pass then the mic to Heather and her regional team from Centre-Ouest.
Thank you, Catherine. Okay, so I'm just going to speak about the in-person local services. So the Centre-Ouest District Office is located at 110 King Street West, and we're open from 8:30 to 4 p.m. The office is closed for lunch between 12 and 1 p.m. The criminal court is just down the street at 45 Main Street East, and the family court is at 55 Main Street West. We also house the Hamilton Refugee Law Office at our location, which we also call the RLO. And that office carries a full load of complex refugee files, and it's comprised of lawyers, paralegals, legal aid workers, and community legal workers. And Angie's just gonna speak to a few other points.
Yes. So if clients prefer to speak to somebody in person, our office does have a main reception area where clients can drop in to get information and to be directed where they need to call, where they can submit hard copy documents and get general questions about Legal Aid Ontario answered. All of these services also are available on the phone during regular working hours of 8:30 and 4 p.m. If you do have any questions, you can contact Heather Vukovic. She is the manager of district operations at the district office. And either way, she can answer your questions or direct you to appropriate person or service who can assist you within the Centre-Ouest district.
Thanks, everyone. So I guess I'll pass it over to Stacy to close this off.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. If you have any questions, our external relations email is right there on the screen, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll make sure you get a response as soon as possible. So we're going to be following up these sessions with resources to assist you with referring to our services, and that will include step-by-step instructions to create an online account with the client portal like John had showed you. So please continue to share your client experiences and thoughts with us about our access channels that we have discussed and shared with you today. Feedback really does help us improve the functionality and overall experience as we try to expand and enhance these channels in the future. We are going to circulate a survey as well that I believe is going to go into the chat now, but we'll circulate that by email as well. Okay, thank you everyone.